City magazine?
Yes, sir.
You live on MLK Boulevard.
Yes. Something wrong?
Legally, I can't ask you if you've been convicted of a crime, so I'm just going to stare at you with a look of concern.
Wait, what?
Well, over 900 streets across the country are named after Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., but many are located in blighted neighborhoods. The film King Boulevard uses humor and drama to spotlight a young man on a mission to transform his community and to truly honor Dr. King's legacy. And joining us this morning, we have film director Earl Hardy and film collaborator Sean Harness. Thank you both so much for joining us. How are you this morning?
Very good. Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. Okay, so I have to say, I've seen the film. I enjoyed it. It made me laugh. It also, of course, made me think critically. Now, Earl, I know that Sean, at some point, lived on King Drive here in Chicago a couple of times throughout his life. So I'm just curious, how did his experiences and what he went through, how did that influence you to do this film, King Boulevard?
Well, I'll start. First of all, thank you for having us today. We really appreciate your time today to exhibit our film and talk about the history and the legacy behind it. But basically, back in 2008, Sean and I go way back to like high school, so when we were young men and whatnot. But in 2008, I was looking for a position. I was living in Detroit, Michigan, and at that time the market tanked, and it was a really bad time for the job market and things of that nature. So I was looking for jobs out of state, and Sean lived in Chicago, and I called him up and said, hey, can I use your address to to apply for jobs in Chicago? Because at that time, this was way before like telemarketing and Zoom was like a thing, So you had to kind of live where you actually work. So I said, hey, can I use your address to apply for positions? And he said I could. And he lived on MLK Boulevard in Chicago. And at that time, we kind of joked and said, hey, man, that's kind of like the bad part of town. There's like, it's always like some drama going down. And sure enough, there was. I mean, there were things that were happening that, cars being broken into, vandalism, things like that were happening on that street. And it was like a joke back then. But that idea and that kind of theme always stood with me. And when I began to make films and content for, filmmaking purposes, I wanted to kind of come back to the idea, and I kind of researched that idea and found that wasn't actually a coincidence. There are reasons why, political reasons, racial reasons, economical reasons why the street is where it is.
Okay, all right. So in the clip that we saw before we got into the interview, Josh, the main character, he's going for an interview, and the person that is interviewing him, sees that he lives on King Boulevard. Long story short, he has trouble finding a job because of where he lives, and he's stereotyped and is a person who should be able to get a job, but again, because of where he lives, is not able to. I'm just curious, Sean, is this something that you experienced firsthand, or knew other people that experienced something like this firsthand? And if so, how has that given you even more of an appreciation as to where you come from on King Boulevard?
Man, that's a really good question. I would say I have experienced that firsthand with myself. Even where I was working at, they're like, "Where do you live?" And I told them, and they're like, "Whoa, you live there?" And these are people that have been in Chicago for a very long time, and also other people that I know of that have definitely experienced that. And so when I think about it, it's interesting because they were cleaning up that area, so more so gentrifying it. So on the outside, didn't look very good, but on the inside, I mean, the space looked immaculate. So for me, that was okay, especially as I was really starting my career there. But the interesting part I'll say is the metaphors. It really brings back the metaphor to Martin Luther King Jr. of how he was really big on focusing on the content of someone's character versus how they looked on the outside. And when I think about how people would treat me or treat others, I would really think about how that metaphor kind of plays out in terms of where I lived versus who I was in the inside.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a great point, and we're going to wrap up in just a few seconds here, but one more question for you. What do you want people to take away from this film? And along with that point, a lot of King Drives here in Chicago, King Boulevards across the country may have a certain look, but you're a great example of, there's so much good that comes out of these neighborhoods in spite of what they may look like. So what do you hope that people get from this film and learn from it? other than just laughter and having a good time watching it?
Sure, sure. I think just basically that change starts within. If you look at the film project, the main character first kind of was like looking outside the community, various figures, various people, organizations that kind of come inside and help what's happening in the city. But I think over the course of the film, the character realized that he actually already had the resources already at his disposal based upon his network, based upon his talent that he's already been given. So I think just the idea that change starts within and you can be the difference to really make an impact in your community is what we want people to take away from the film.
All right. Well, that is Earl and Sean. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Again, truly enjoyed this film. King Boulevard is available to watch on Amazon Prime Video and Tubi. All right, we're going to send things on over to Tim.